Hi, I'm Justin Rhinehart. I'm a senior analyst here at Fox on the Cosmos team. Today, I just want to talk a little bit about some recent research done with some friends of mine. We're all really good friends who appreciate working on like some high impact research. Previously, we've hacked TLDs, domain management systems, connected cars, and most recently lock systems, including a major lock manufacturer responsible for 3 million different doors and 13,000 different properties across 131 different countries. I mean, it's kind of a funny thing because when you're talking about these sort of systems, you're not talking about something that everyone can just get their hands on. So, like I said, sometimes you have like this friction, and what we really like to look at is things that other people might not, look at because there's like this sort of barrier to entry. But like when you spread that across, all sorts of a whole team of people, everyone has different resources that they bring to the table. So like I said, for example, with cars, it's like, not everyone has access to 30 different vendors, different car vendors. So it's like sort of like one person has one person has another. And it's sort of like the same thought process and effort try to bring to a lot of the other projects where, you have all these different things. Like some people will buy certain things that others, contribute in other ways. For example, for lock systems, it's hard. You don't have access to them, so it's like, well, they are very ubiquitous in the sense that they're sort of everywhere. They're sort of gated behind this. This vendor keeps them, and, sells them only to specific like companies. So, but luckily for us, people put things up on eBay. Makes it so where sort of the more resourceful you are in knowing what you're looking for and finding those things, sort of the better results. Also, another great thing about collaboration is, while it also like increases the amount of resources, like we really sort of keep each other going. We encourage each other, where one person might have stopped on their own, you sort of want to do it for everyone else, and it really creates a fun atmosphere as well. When you talk about disclosure timelines on these sort of things, you get, it's not like when you like disclose to a website and like there's a problem in their code, right? It could be patched instantly. You don't have to necessarily, mess with this whole like very long timeline because there's only one person impacted. Once it's fixed, it's fixed. Right? You still follow, the disclosure, like give them time to fix things. This is not like 90-day time window. And it gets a little bit more complicated when you start to talk about like enterprise applications where they're deployed in multiple environments. You sort of get people like, you see like, think of Avanti or something, where there's like a patch, a little bit of latency between when the patch is released and when someone can go find something and patch it. And then at the very kind of far end of the spectrum are these devices that aren't internet connected. They're right, like someone has to go out in person to sort of like fix or replace these things, and sort of joke that it takes the 90-day, disclosure timeline kind of turns into a 90-week one. But for their part, Normacapo was super helpful. They were very responsive. I know they put a great deal of time, effort, and money into sort of working with us to fix these problems. The two main people spearheading this research, Leonard and Ian, I know that sort of they had them out and talked to them a lot, and right, even like flew people out to test things in person and sort of figure out how they can do better. So anytime you're working with vendors, there are like sort of complexities when you talk about like hackers and vendors are usually on the very opposite ends of the spectrum on the disclosure conversation. While there's infinite nuance, it's like there's these like real life, very public safety type of implications to the work, it gets a lot more complicated, right? So I really think that while the bug was found in September 2022, and then just recently published, partially published. We're not exposing the whole POC, as a matter of like public safety. Just disclosing that like it was a thing that happened and it does work. So it's like a very, like I said, it's just recently published, like in the past few weeks. So like I said, it's great to be able to finally sort of talk about it. And then, like I said, we completely understand the sort of the length of time it takes because, like I said, these are things that are happening in the real world, right? And like also, like our group really participates in these large scale, high impact research projects. And like I said, we would love to see more people participate in this sort of research. It is such, right, like the problem's not getting better, right? There's more connected systems all the time. There's, right, very critical places. We sort of get people coming up to us at conferences and whatnot saying, hey, can you look at X next? I work in this sector, or, and like we really need help. So yeah, I would love to see more sort of groups and more people come forward and work on these very large sort of critical infrastructure systems, for the public good. And with it, that's it for me. My name is Justin. Thanks for your time. See you out there in the next one.